the data that I shared with you guys at the 2 weeks ago at the fall kickoff. I wasn't really able to kind of dive deep into that. So I'm going to get into that a little bit, where rates are at. And then I got one more thing to share with you guys today, the First Home Savings Account. So that's what I got for you guys today. But in terms of the economic update, like I said, the last time that I presented in front of you guys for the fall kickoff, I wasn't able to share the updated graph, but I was able to share with you the data of inflation because it did come out that morning. So as you guys can see, this is the updated numbers. And the biggest thing to look at is obviously the August CPI is back up, trending in the wrong direction. You know, you really want it to go down, right? And then another indicator to look at, this graph. So the dark blue one is going to be CPI, which is obviously everything that goes into you know, the basket of goods that they take into consideration for inflation. But the lighter blue one is going to be excluding gasoline. And I just kind of want to highlight that a little bit more. As you guys can see it right up over here. I just want to highlight that up a little bit more because in the last 2 months, it's been relatively flat. But in the last report, it's gone slightly up. And that's going to be, in terms of, you know, comparing to core, it's not necessarily exactly core, but it does strip out gasoline, which is very volatile. You know, so because all of the core inflation is trending upwards, that's the wrong direction that you really, you know, that's really concerning. If you know, obviously you see that regular CPI with all the rest of the volatile prices, that's going to include gas, which has obviously been up. You know, shelter costs with you know, taking into consideration the interest rate increases that we put into last year. So yeah, I know, you know, one of the biggest things that I get asked questions about is, you know, what are my predictions for the next meeting and stuff like that. But I do want to, you know, preface to you guys that, you know, numbers are obviously always changing and there is still more data to come out before the next meeting. So the next Bank of Canada meeting is going to be on October 25th. But there's another CPI report that comes out October 17th. So, you know, I can obviously, you know, I'd love to share with you guys my thoughts, obviously, right now, if you guys do have questions. But, you know, the data that comes out on October 17th is definitely going to be taken into consideration in terms of what the Bank of Canada is going to be doing. So, you know, in terms of where are we trending, I don't think that's going to be a very good report in terms of, you know, I think inflation is going to still be trending in the wrong direction. But another important indicator that I wanted to bring to you guys, which has been getting highlighted in the last little bit, is jobs. And this isn't something that I typically share with you guys too much, but we've seen kind of an inflection point. So I did feel the need to kind of bring it to you guys because I thought that it was important this time. As you guys can kind of see, this is going to be pretty much, it's unemployment, right? So the higher this graph is, the less people have jobs, right? So the spike over there is right when you know, the pandemic hit, so obviously it was really, really high. Now, if you direct your attention all the way to the end of the graph, you can kind of see that you know, it's trending upwards a little bit. However, it might not be super clear, but if I direct your attention to July and August, instead of it, you know, from April to July, you know, the numbers are going up. Less people have jobs. Unfortunately, that's what you do want to see. That's the point of these interest rate increases. It's to slow down the economy. So that's, you know, it was working throughout the spring, summer months. But now, as you guys can kind of see, it's flattened out a little bit. So the reason as to why I, like I said, wanted to bring it to you guys is because, you know, have we reached an inflection point? Well, I'm not 100% sure, but from where the data is telling us, we're going flat. So from flat, you can either go two ways, right? You can either go unemployment starts ticking up a little bit more, or it comes back down. So if unemployment is coming back down, that means the economy is a little bit more resilient, and you know, which is another cause for interest rate hikes. So I mean, even it being flat might be a cause for interest rate increase again, but I don't want to go out and say that. But again, this is just another indicator that's not in our favor.
The numbers were similar in the US recently, and the Federal Reserve there decided to increase regardless, because I think they just sort of felt everybody taking such a hammering. Do you know historically whether the Bank of Canada tends to follow suit a little bit with the Federal Reserve?
They do historically follow, you know, what the Federal Reserve is going to take into consideration. But I will say we started our interest rate hikes before the US did. And our inflation numbers are a little bit better than theirs.
Oh, yeah?
And I was messaging in the group chat this morning, and I was told that the job numbers came out for the US. Don't quote me on it because I did not look myself. I'm just going off of what I'm hearing in my circle. Apparently, unemployment has been going down in the US, which is a sign of, like I said, a stronger economy, which would warrant, more interest rate hikes. But I would say that, we started raising interest rates first in Canada. And then the US kind of, they didn't follow suit with us. Like, everyone follows.
No, they don't
the US.
care.
Exactly. I would say we started.
They don't even know.
Yeah, we kind of got ahead of the ball a little bit first, so I would say that. And obviously, in saying this, I'm just going to go back to the CPI. Obviously, it's not good. Jobs, obviously not in the right direction where we don't, where we want to go. So that brings me to rates. And rates are up quite a bit. It seems like every single time that I'm coming here to you guys, which is every 3 weeks, maybe even sooner, every single time I've come here, rates are up. So I'm so sorry to say, but from the last time that I was here on the fall kickoff, which was 2 weeks ago, interest rates have gone up about 20 basis points. So I'm quoting right at the top a 3-year, 30-year amortization mortgage from TD from 6.61 to 6.8. We're in the direction where we're going to be seeing 7% interest rates soon. I mean, we're trending in that direction. At this point, we're qualifying people at just below 9%. So the bar that you have to go over as a borrower is about 9%. So that's one thing that I wanted to just show you guys as an update. And the last thing that I have for you guys here today is the First Home Savings Account. I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with it. It just got recently introduced this year in April 1st, I believe. Yeah, April 1st. So I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention because it is a little bit newer of a thing. In terms of when you talk about first-time homebuyer benefits, it's not typically something that gets wrapped up into that. But I did a little bit of research on it, and I'm by no means a tax expert. But I did a little bit of research on it. I haven't seen any of my clients or clients around the brokerage taking advantage of it. But there are some advantages that you might want to take into consideration. Just to recap a little bit, it works kind of similarly to like an RRSP. So when you deposit money into it, it's tax-free, and when you take money out of it, it's tax-free. Obviously, there's limitations on it. It's supposed to be used for your first home, and there's also limitations as to how much money you can contribute into it. So just to touch on a little bit of that, it's around $8,000 a year, and you have a lifetime limit of $40,000. So the maximum you can put in it is about $40,000. Right off the top of my head, who do I think could use this is self-employed people. Or let's say, for example, take real estate agents, for example. You guys might not, I'm not too sure if you guys get taxes taken off at source. I know that I don't when I get paid commissions, but taxes aren't taken off at source. So if they're going into my First Home Savings account, then I'm not getting taxed on that. And I can deduct it from my taxable income, right? So again, I'm not a tax expert, but this is what I've gathered from doing research on it.
When you take RSPs out, you do get taxed on it. So with this, you don't?
Not with a first-time home buyer.
Right. Oh, sorry. Yes.
And the point
Sorry.
of this is you're going to be using it for your first home.
Right.
So when I read, I was under the assumption that you're not getting taxed on it.
No, I
But I could be wrong.
apologize. Yeah, Tori clarified when you're using it for a home purchase as
Yeah,
opposed
and
to-
obviously there's gonna be limitations, right? So it's
Yeah.
not just a golden rule of, oh, I can do whatever I want, I'm not gonna get taxed. There's definitely rules and regulations, and I have added the URL, so if you guys wanted to go back, or I can just send you the URL, it's not a problem at all. If you guys did want a page on that to send your clients or to read up on it, let me know.